Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we're going to be going over some battles I did with Talonflame. I asked my chat to suggest me 25 unique teams. I pulled out the best battles, and each of these teams obviously would have Talonflame. Obviously you're well aware, I'm sure there's lots of videos on YouTube already of people using Talonflame, and I just want to go over some of the battles and my thoughts around using Talonflame. So let's go ahead and get started. This first battle, I have Azumarill, Talonflame, and Mawile. So this is obviously a good lead for me here. I am going to go for the play rough. They actually end up catching the move. It's actually kind of problematic for me, to be honest, here, because this team, I wouldn't necessarily suggest this team, but this team has this is like a double fire type team. Yeah, this is a double fire team. So basically, both these Pokemon are supposed to cover in the back. The problem with sometimes is that when they end up mirroring in the team, it becomes a little bit problematic. So, but that's okay. So I am going to let this go, and then I think I come into Talonflame, and then I'm literally going to try to incinerate this Azu down. Well, I'm going to flip the flame charge here just to put some shield pressure. They end up shielding, and they do have the ice beam here, so really good for me that I got to make sure incinerate through. They actually hydro pump. So here comes a Alolan Marowak. Is that Alolan Marowak? What did I Brave Bird? Oh yeah, it is Alolan Marowak. I'm basically able to one-shot it with Brave Bird, and then I think I end up shielding this because I have the Brave Bird ready, but I end up throwing the Flame Charge. A little bit of a mistake on my part. I really should have Brave Birded there. And then I switch, and I'm going to Play Rough. And this Play Rough, I don't think KOs from this. Oh, it does KO from this health range. And this game's pretty much over. Here, I'm able to bubble down. So, Azumarill, and Azumarill is obviously one of the toughest Pokemon for Talonflame to deal with. So this next team is, which one is this? Talonflame lead, Venusaur, and G-Fisk. G-Fisk switching is really weird for me. I know it's going to be Bastiodon in the back, so I really need to win switch here. So I was able to shield the Earthquake, which is really good for me. And they're able to get the extra mud shot through, so they should be one away. Okay, yeah, one away from the Earthquake. So I'm able to get this second Frenzy Plant through. So, the EQ here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they need 3 more for the EQ. For the 30 EQ. So this should just be a Rock Slide. Arguably, I should have farmed up a little bit more. I should have maybe threw an 8. But I'm able to farm it down there. And then I'm going to look to throw the Frenzy Plant here, which will do an absolute truckload of damage to the Medicham. I do expect a Bastiodon in the back, because Medicham Double Steel is quite a popular team. This should be a Power-Up Punch, which is totally fine for me. And I go into Talonflame here. They do have a Bastiodon, and this game is like pretty much over at this point in time because the Medicham is obviously very low. It already took a Frenzy Plan. I should just be able to, I just need to Rock Slide afterwards, and this Earthquake should KO. And then I just need to Rock Slide. They don't have Dynamic Punch, so there's nothing that can do a significant amount of damage to me. The Power Punch obviously good for ramping up, but I'm able to land the Rock Slide here and take out the Medicham. 2 shield against G-Fisk is really tough, but I was able to pull it out. There, this team is Umbreon, Talonflame, and Skarmory. This like a double flying type team concept. I'm not 100% sure that Talonflame is that Umbreon is the right cover there, mostly because you have a double weakness to Azu, like pretty significant double weakness, with they're not like really a great Pokemon to cover for you. So rather than trying CMP there, I am just going to incinerate down this Machamp. And I come out with a good amount of energy there. So let's see what they're going to come in with. They come in with Marowak. I'm going to look to just to Brave Bird. And I do a lot of damage there. And here comes Altaria. I should be able to... Oh, I tried to go for the Brave Bird there. But I clicked the Incinerate. Not Incinerate, the Flame Charge. But this is perfectly fine for me. This game's over. I can just Brave Bird this Altaria. And that should almost KO it. And then put me in a really good spot here. They're able to land the Sky Attack here. I really should just Brave Bird it there. But that's okay. I think I end up just double Sky Attacking. Just Brave Bird for good measure, I suppose. And also don't want this Marowak to farm too much. Not that it's going to be that big deal, because it doesn't have that much energy anyways. I tried to catch the... Well, I actually ended up catching a move here. But I think it ended up being a Bone Club. Which I ended up living. And then Incinerate went through and I was able to win that game there. So I don't necessarily recommend that team. 2 week to Azumarill lead is... and then kind of have to stay then. If they have Play Rough, which is very likely. So this next team is Jellicent, a Talonflame, and Azumarill. So I'm going to Shadow Ball here. They end up letting it go. And they actually end up very impressively barely surviving the Shadow Ball. And I'm able to farm down. And then here comes Umbreon. I'm going to look to get a little bit of a head start on Talonflame. So I expect this to be Hypno Double Dark, considering they have... but it's kind of weird how they played it. They should have really went Umbreon into Jellicent right away, or tried to catch the move. But maybe that's what they were trying to do. They're trying to sack, and they realized, like, okay, well, there's no point in trying to sack now, because I'm not really too sure. Because they should have double counters in the back. And... Oh, no. Okay, it's Machamp, actually. I'm going to look to land this Flame Charge here. I think I end up shielding this. Even though I know it's a cross chop, this Flame Charge should be able to grab a shield. Plus the Incinerate damage is going to be really nice. I'm not too fearful of Machamp. Against Jellicent will probably faint to this Rock Slide, which is totally fine. I have an Azumarill, though. So this is going to be GG. That's probably why they end up staying. But if they end up having... I really should have just switched here. I'm not sure why I stayed. Because this Ice Beam doesn't really do that much to Umbreon. And I think they end up conceding after seeing my Azumarill, which makes sense. Because there's not really too much play on their side. So another interesting team. So this team is Deoxys, Umbreon, and Talonflame. Obviously, double weak to Azumarill in the back. So I am gonna look to... I think I try to catch, throw both these Rock Slides and try to catch the Sky Attack. I don't know. Or do I? I think I just switch here. I switch here because I don't want to get farmed down. They end up having Machamp here. I am going to throw this Last Resort, which does chunk Shadow Machamp a pretty good amount. And then I'm going to look to land this Foul Play here. And I thought it would survive that Cross Chop. But I don't end up actually surviving the Cross Chop. So I'm just going to 2-shield the Talonflame, to be honest. I'm going to get as much counter damage as I can here. And I'm going to let this go. I'm just going to Incinerate down this Machamp. I know they still have Altaria, which is totally fine. So one Incinerate KOs. And they have Altaria. I'm able to get the Incinerate through, which is fantastic for me. And I'm just going to look to farm it down. There's no way they can make it to another move. But this Altaria survives with 1 HP, very annoyingly. And I believe they actually have a Meganium in the back. So whenever you see Altaria lead, expect that there's going to be grass in the back. So two shielding the Talonflame was definitely the right move based off what I expected the team comp to be. Meganium is grass in general is really good because versus to pair with an Altaria, mostly because it does it does allow it to beat both G-Fisk and Azumarill. In like obviously Azumarill for sure. Also, this is actually a very bad lead. So I go right to Talonflame. And then here comes Jellicent. It's a bubble Jellicent, so I'm just going to straight Brave Bird here. Because they're definitely not going to shield the first one, right? This is like no reason for them to shield. And I expect this to be a Bubble Beam. Oh, it ends up being a Shadow Ball, which is totally fine for me. I'm going to go into Meganium. I should have waited the clock a little bit longer here. Yeah, that was a kind of a big mistake on my part. Because they are not going to wait. So this is looking pretty bad for me. I just throw the Frenzy because it's a Shadow Ninetales. They end up not shielding. I have to shield this. And then I think I switch out to Charizard. And they come into Venusaur. This ends up being like a really, really, really close game here. They make a really nice play by no shielding this Venusaur. Ended up surviving the Dragon Claw, so I do have to shield because I do expect this Sludge Bomb to do a lot of damage. And this I thought I was actually going to be toast here because obviously they could just Psy Shock me. Not stab on Psy Shock. So if I can survive this Psy Shock. Oh, they actually ended up playing Weather Ball here. They might have a Weather Ball Overheat. I think I switch here. And I actually should live this Weather Ball. And then I'm able to take it out. So, Meganium, just a very tanky grass type. Or they undercharged? I don't know. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if they undercharged there. But was able to survive. So, that was very good. I think they undercharged, to be honest. So, I'm not sure why I didn't cut this part out. But that's okay. Let's move on to this next battle. So Talonflame into Scrafty. So this is okay for me. I am going to straight Flame Charge here. They have enough energy for the foul play. They end up no shielding. I let this go. I know it's likely to be a... Oh, okay. And they end up pupping me. So it's just pretty good for me. And then I throw the Flame Charge here. Really ramping up. I come into Bastiodon. I really should have went into... I made a huge mistake there. I really should have went into Jellicent into Bastiodon. But I really didn't want to get farmed down with Talonflame, so I am no shielding this. And what did I do here? So I bait here, which is probably a bad move on my part. Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm going to end up shielding this and then switching it to Jellicent. Yeah, so I saved the Hydro Cannon for later. But I definitely made the wrong call there by not going to Jellicent versus the Bastiodon. When you say switch, you should go to your hard counter. Or I should just honestly, I probably should let Talonflame go down. But I was trying to make a read on their team, considering they didn't switch out or they didn't shield at all. So I actually ended up CMP tying here. No, is it CMP tie? Actually, no, they're looking to farm me down. They actually end up shielding this. And I tried to do a snipe with Talon. I made a huge mistake here. So I shouldn't have shielded here. I should have saved my shield for Swampert. But this Bastiodon has... I don't think... Well, maybe one Hydro Cannon would KO. Hydro Cannon definitely KOs now. And they have a move on Bastiodon. They have a Stone Edge, right? So I really needed to preserve a little bit of health here. But honestly, I'm not entirely sure I could beat this Bastiodon. If I do shield here, maybe it would have been really close. And I would have got one hex off, but it would have been a really close game. Either a tie or I still end up losing. So a little bit of misplays on my side there. Totally fine. So I actually think I run back this team because of the massive misplay on my side. On the switch and then on the shield on Talonflame was not good. So a good lead for me. But the Powder Snow is just like this Powder Snow Weather Ball is so obnoxious. So so they're at 7. So they need 2 more for another Weather Ball. So they'll be able to get the Weather Ball during this next Incinerate if they decide to stay, which they do not. I'm gonna build up and I was trying to catch the Hydro Cannon, but I guess it doesn't really matter. They're gonna throw the Hydro Cannon anyways because they very unlikely have Earthquake, and they're able to really spam these Hydro Cannons quite well. So I'm gonna throw here. I actually think I ended up letting go of this Jellicent. Mostly because I was fearful that I was going to get beat to the move. So I am going to go to Swampert here. Build up a little bit of extra. So I know they're super close to another one. So I'm like, okay, I can't risk the CMP tie. So I'm just going to switch here and throw the Flame Charge on Talonflame. Hope it's enough to KO. I have Swampert with energy. They come back with Ninetales. Totally fine. I should be able to survive this. And, oh man, they come to Machamp here. So, I'm going to, obviously, I would have lost CMP if I threw the move there. So, I am going to look to build up a little bit extra. And then throw here. And then, I think this Ninetales is like 2 away from a move. And I'm just 1 away from a move, so I should be able to land this Hydro Cannon, which should be enough to take out the Alolan Ninetales, so I'll be able to win that game. So I'll get a little bit of redemption, play a little bit better that time around. Obviously, I had like pretty decent counters against their team. So okay, so Hypno, I gotta go straight to Vigoroth. They go into Scrafty here. Very interesting. Always I'm double weak to fighting in the back. But Vigoroth can definitely put up a pretty good fight against Scrafty. These counters are both doing super effective damage to each other. They obviously have Stab on their counters, and plus they get to boost up with this Power Up Punch. But I should be able to come really close here, and then I don't need to shield, I believe. Actually, they might be able to get. Actually, they'll be able to get to a foul play, but or they just fall just short of it. Okay, so I think I go for. Okay, no, I don't go for the Brave Bird. Okay, so it's a little bit of a complicated situation for me here. Obviously, this is a good matchup. They no shield. I'm able to get an extra bullet seed through. And I'm going to look to farm just a little bit and throw the power up here, which I imagine that they're going to shield. And I just need to get rid of this Dugong because I have a Brave Bird ready. Okay, so I throw here. Do I have a Brave Bird ready? I'm pretty sure I do. And I throw here. This Brave Bird is going to do... I think this is Shadow Hypno Shikeo. Yeah, Shikeo. I think it's 3 Incinerates plus the Brave Bird's enough to KO Hypno. So obviously, really good alignment on my side. Then obviously that they are also double weak to fighting in the back. So basically run the same team, but except for Vigoroth, I have Poly, which is a little bit better against like... Okay, we're on to another Hypno. Okay, so not the best situation for me. I probably should have went into Fairthorn here. But this is okay too. Or I should have threw the Brave Bird. Yeah, I probably should have threw the Brave Bird there. I'm going to CMP tie on this next Thunder Punch. For what reason? I'm not entirely sure. I do get an extra Mud Shot through. I'm going to let this go. I think I Flame Charge here. And this won't KO. Oh, she does KO. Ends up done. Okay. Alright, so this is okay for me. I'm going to Brave Bird here. It's going to do a lot to the Azumarill. They end up shielding. I end up getting caught here, which is not great. It's Ice Beam. I think I switch out, obviously, because my defense has dropped a lot. And then here comes Trophius. This is kind of a tricky situation for me here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I had Flash Cannon here, maybe this would be a little bit better. Because Flash Cannon's a better move than Thunder. But it would stab as well. So they end up shielding there. I think I let this go. The Aerial Ace does a nice chunk. I really need to catch a move here, but they played it really, really well there. I'm gonna Brave Bird here, but there's just no way for me to play this. I could have thrown the Power Whip here, and instead of going for the extra move here, and then I don't think I survived the Air Slashes anyways. So I tried to go for a no bubble Power Whip, but they're too low health. Because I really needed one more bullet seed to get to the Aerial Ace. But yeah, they just had too little health. I probably should have farmed more before throwing the Power Whip. But that's okay. So this is a Cress. Okay, they go into Azumarill here. I'm going to throw the Confusion Crest, which is really bad for my back line, to be honest. I don't really have a great response to Azu as well, so I'm not 100% certain on how this team's going to go. I'm going to shield here. I'm going to look to farm all the way down. This is like my only option, right, is to farm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really super close. They're going to get. They had the energy for the Ice Beam. I was able to KO them before they were able to. They got the Confusion through, which is really bad for me. I should live the Confusion, though. Does a huge chunk. And because they didn't get the Confusion there the second time, I'm going to be able to get to this next Shadow Punch, which is really good for me. And then this Haunter will go down. And I'm going to go to Talonflame here. I'm not going to shield. I don't expect them to have Future Sight or Aurora Beam. So I expect to be able to resist everything here. Yeah. So I know I'm going to beat them to the move here. And then I'm going to go straight into Shadow Machamp here. I got rid of 2 counters to Shadow Machamp. And if they have a third one, good GG's to them, but they end up having a Scrafty, so worked out really favorably for me, which makes sense for Crest. They have like 2 counters too. Okay, this is an absolute terrible lead for me. This thing does really well against all 3 of my Pokemon. So I think I end up taking this, and this should be a Shadow Bone. And I'm going to switch right away to Talonflame. They go into Azumarill. I'm going to Flame Charge here. And look to... they obviously wouldn't shield first time, but I need to build up. They end up going straight for the Hydro Pump. Which makes sense for them because they're likely going to win this matchup anyways. So, what do I do here? I end up throwing the Brave Bird here. And then I switch out. And I thought this was going to KO Azu. I even said on stream, bye Azu. And it actually doesn't KO Azu, which is really, honestly, pretty awful for me. I do have to shield this. And I really need to get to this Brave Bird here. And I'm able to get to the Brave Bird. The problem with this Azu being alive is that now it's going to be able to Hydro Pump my Reggie. But my saving grace here is they actually have a Wigglytuff in the back, so ends up being really, really good for me here. And then I'm able to obviously beat the Wigglytuff when it has no shields. And just end up double Flash Kitting this Wigglytuff. So, ended up working really well for me, even though Marowak was a total disaster for all three of my Pokemon. But we ended up pulling through, and they had a really great counter switch for me. It was a good thing that my third Pokemon was just super strong in the back. I believe I have one more battle here. Talonflame, Chestnut, and Ferrothorn. So we're basically running like fire double grass or flying double grass. I don't really know. Okay, so they have G-Fisk here. I have two counters to G-Fisk in the back, two better counters. So I'm just going to throw both these Incinerates and then catch the Rock Slide onto Ferrothorn. Well, I don't know if Ferrothorn is a better counter to G-Fisk. Probably not, actually. It's a really bait-dependent matchup. But that's okay. So they clearly have enough for the EQ. They go into Bastiodon. So I do expect them to have Azu in the back if they came Bastiodon and they were so late on the switch. So they are going to make it to the Flamethrower here, which I tried to get extra bullet seed through, but it didn't work. So they need 7 more to get to it. So I'm going to bank it. Make a slight mistake here. Overcharge. I'm going to actually just take this Flamethrower. And I'm going to build up a little bit because I want to debuff myself as late as possible. Chestnut, obviously a really great counter to Bastiodon. So, but obviously debuff makes this a little bit closer. They end up going to G-Fisk here and catching it. Which is totally fine for me because G-Fisk had a lot of energy. I'm going to switch out. So I expected it to be an Azu in the back. So I switch out to Ferrothorn here. Going to look to apply a lot of pressure to this Azumarill, farm up a little bit here. And then basically Ferrothorn can take it home for me. And I end up shielding this. I really debated not shielding and going to Talonflame, but it would have been way too risky there. And then the Bastiodon honestly has too much health for my Talonflame to take out, even at full health. And then I'm going to be able to land this next Power Whip and take out the Bastiodon. So I believe that is the last game with Talonflame. So my overall thoughts on Talonflame. I think it's a super fun Pokemon to use. I do think it'll be way better in Ultra League because it'll have significantly more bulk. So it's going to be able to ramp up those flame charges way more and really upset the meta in Ultra League. I think it has play in Open and in Premier. In Great League, I think it's like kind of a novel pick. It's definitely an improvement over Charizard, and it's really nice to have a fire flying type, but it is really squishy, really weak to Azumarill. Its matchup with G-Fisk is really iffy, but I think it's overall a really strong Pokemon. It'll definitely have a lot of play in some future theme cups that we might see in coming up. So anyways, I'm going to leave there. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.